Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to the Little Caesars 10th Anniversary All-Madden team. 2 weeks from today, the Olympic flame will be lit in Lillehammer, Norway, to signify the start of the 17th Olympic Winter Games. Today, though, we'll light the All-Madden flame in honor of the 10th anniversary of this special team. And while the Olympic torch has been traveling throughout Norway over the past few months, the All-Madden torch has made its way across America. Pat Summerall has the story of its extraordinary odyssey.
The torch is lit at a simple ceremony at Raiders headquarters by the managing general partner of the original All-Madden team, Al Davis. Charter members included tackle Art Shell and receiver Fred Bolitnikoff, remembered for his hands of glue. Now, as Raider coaches themselves, the journey begins in their hands.
Fred, it's 1993. We don't use Sickum anymore.
Jackie Slater has started more games than any offensive lineman in the history of pro football. Now what's he going to do?
I wish I had time to go there, but I got to get this torch to Big John at the All-Madden team. I'm out of here.
Torchbearers include luminaries from off the gridiron as well.
Hey, John, what does a hockey player have to do to make the All-Madden team? You know I'm not a bad center.
Greatness is a start, Wayne, but it also takes unbridled courage, among other things, as this harrowing leg illustrates. Harris Barton of the 49ers makes a solo run across the Golden Gate Bridge. Let the timid of heart beware. The Niner high-powered offense then sends the torch by relay into the city of San Francisco. Where three-time passing champion Steve Young scrambles the torch to its next rendezvous. Once airborne, the trip heads south across the mountains and into the desert. The good, the bad, the All-Madden. Only our toughest courier would be expected to head into the desert night, armed with only his helmet, pads, and a mouthpiece. A job fit for the Cardinals' Gary Clark. While in New Orleans, the Saints make a trip through the French Quarter with nary a moment to spare. For the All-Madden torch has a tea time.
What do you think, Jimmy? I've got 260 in the middle, John. I think it's 5 iron, huh? 5 iron should do it. Now, give me this.
Golf's longest hitter heads for Texas. In Dallas, the Cowboys take turns with this coveted symbol of excellence. The chase north into the heart of winter begins with the comeback All-Madden torch singer of the year. He's also a former nose guard out of Texas Tech.
All-Madden. Hey, John, Meatloaf here. I got a clause in my MCA record contract that if I make the All-Madden team, I get a bonus. So, I'll do anything to be on the All-Madden team, include run like a bat out of hell down this road, okay? All-Madden!
Onward into winter's frozen fury, our mightiest warriors battle the cold. In all, the torch will travel over 3,000 treacherous miles. And despite the elements, and despite losing some to injury, the torch remains in steady hands, and its flame never dims. Well, almost never. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddles, and massive linebackers yearning to blitz. Give us Lawrence Taylor in New Jersey. And then across the way to Long Island, Ronnie Lott of the Jets takes a spin when he suspects an oncoming receiver is lurking nearby. Back into New York City, the torch stands guard.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Until our chief financial officer takes it for a stroll. Running in formation, Darrell Green of the Redskins streaks down the eastern seaboard to his former head coach, now enjoying his new vocation as race car owner.
Hey, I can't see. Somebody give me a light. Oh, yeah, now I can see.
That's a look at where the torch has been. The final torchbearer is rapidly approaching the stadium. So for the arrival and our coverage of the lighting ceremony, let's go back out to Pat Summerall.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Meatloaf with our national anthem. And now the final torchbearer's arrival is anxiously awaited. His identity has been shrouded in secrecy. Walter Payton takes Montana's handoff, and now the NFL's all-time leading rusher will light the all-Madden flame, capping this magnificent journey.
Welcome to the 10th anniversary All Madden team. We got the heat, we got the meat, and now it's time to get smelly fast.
We're in Atlanta, the site of Super Bowl number 28, and also the site of the All-Madden team, the 10th anniversary. And, John, can you believe the torch has finally made it to Atlanta?
No, I'll tell you, I was glad to see that, though, because some of those guys had to run a long ways with that thing, because it went over 3,000 miles. Some of those guys are running like 40, 50, 60 miles, and they're running day, night, in the mountains, in the desert, in the snow. We even passed Atlanta once, and we were west, and we went east, and we had to come all the way back to Atlanta. I'm just happy that thing got here.
I don't think we want to know where all it's been. John, can you believe the thing has become what it is, the All-Madden team?
Well, remember when we first started? I mean, we just started, and it was a little thing, and we didn't have much. I mean, we just had like one pencil and one piece of paper that first year, and then the next thing we went to computers. Remember that? We were stuffing computers, and names were coming out, and that was how we picked the team. And then I remember when I really felt that we had this thing made was when we got world headquarters. Remember, they call them facilities. Yeah. I always thought when you get something that they call facilities, that you've got it made.
And we don't know where they are, but we've got it made. I remember when we started, John, I didn't even know what to call it.
Yeah, I know it. That was the thing. Was it this or that? And I didn't even know what you were supposed to wear to do it.
Now the long-awaited event, the long-awaited announcement of John Madden's All-Pro team. We'll be back with what's happening on defense in the All-John Madden team. Let's take a look at who made John Madden's All-Pro, all-time team as specialists. Well, back then we didn't know what to call it. We didn't know what to wear, but we've got all that worked out now. We'll be back with the announcement of the 10th anniversary All-Madden team after this. Little Caesars 10th anniversary All-Madden team is sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get two great pizzas for one low price. Florsheim, from dress to casual. When you get Florsheim Comfort-Tech, you get comfortable. And by Tough Actin' Tenactin, the official sponsor of the National Football League and the All-Madden team.
How does the owner of Little Caesars think up his next great pizza idea? What are his influences, his inspiration?
That's it. Pizza for $1. Where do I come up with this stuff?
Pizza for $1. Now, when you buy 2 pizzas with 2 toppings for $8.98, you get a third pizza for $1.
Pizza.
When it comes to paint, we're making a name for ourselves because we make our own and guarantee its quality. That's Ace, the name to know for paint.
If you hate the taste of cough syrup, throw in the spoon. Introducing Brixol Cough Liquid Caps. Each one's concentrated to give you 8 hours of relief with no bad taste. New Brixol Cough Liquid Caps. Isn't that better?
John, the heart and soul of every all-Madden team we've had has been the offensive line. They're the foundation.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, you need big old guys, compilations hanging over there. Here's how we draw them. You always put the center there with a square. Then you put a big old guard there like a Newton and a Gogan here and a Matthews. And then you got big old tackles here. They go right off the side of the paper. These are your tackles. These are guards right here. And then they just fill up the hole. I mean, here's a sideline here. Here's a sideline here. Your offense is the foundation. They're so big they take up the whole field. If they ever need confidence, you just draw in the defense like this little old guy, and you say, hey, how the heck they going to stop us with this crew?
Well, our offensive tackle's got to lose some weight to fit on the field. Now, let's meet the offensive line.
And you want a big foundation. So you start with the Dallas Cowboys, Eric Williams, Kevin Gogan, and Nate Newton.
That foundation's not going to give way. That's about 340 pounds apiece.
And watch them on this one play. They start off here in a double team. Nate Newton comes from the offside. They hand it to Emmett Smith, a right-off tackle.
And you start off holding hands.
Well, that's just a bluff to make them think it's a pass. Then, boom, they knock him off the line of scrimmage. There comes 61 Nate, and there goes Emmett Smith.
So how about a closer look then at Eric Williams?
This guy, this is a draw, but you start off in pass protection. When he pass protects you, he clubs you. Look at that from that left hand. Boom, pop.
And then you got to hose yourself down.
Yeah, you don't want to keep it in because then you get a little longy that puts extra weight on. You always want to take it in and blow it right back out.
And the 49ers contribution.
Well, Steve Wallace, Jesse Sapolo, Harris Barton. You know, Harris Barton is one of those solid right tackles. You look at him here as a pass protector. He's a good run blocker, always in the right position. He's the blocker for the backside of Steve Young. And after Steve Young throws a pass, he lets him know what happened.
Plus, he leads the league in worrying.
And then Jesse Sapolo, solid guy in the center. You know, you want that real square guy, boom, get his hands up on that guy and run on pass just like Jesse does.
Then on the other side of the San Francisco offensive line, Steve Wallace.
You know, one of the tough things about playing left tackle is you don't have a tight end on your side. So you have to play that inside and outside rush, and Steve Wallace does it perfectly.
And at center,
Bruce Matthews of the Houston Oilers. You know, he's a guy that has played all the offensive line positions. Center, both guards, both tackles, and he has all the moves. Watch him. He's waiting. You see Deion Sanders coming here, number 21. Matthews spies him, sees him there. Just wait to, right there, Deion picks him off. That's a real veteran.
And speaking of real veterans, how about Jackie Slater of the Rams?
Well, I don't think you can have any offensive line or any all-Madden team without Jackie Slater. I think over the years, he's one of the best we've ever seen, and he's been doing it great for 18 years.
Well, you talk about guys that have been in that offensive line a long time and guys been in the trenches. Nate Newton's joined us, John.
Well, and I think, you know, when you talk about the all-Madden team, and we do an all-Madden team, it can't be an all-Madden team without Nate Newton. And Nate, welcome, and tell us what it takes to be an offensive line. What is an offensive lineman?
Man, we just really, I think of me, myself as just a hog, man. Just somebody that's getting down there, getting dirty, man, rooting somebody out and moving them off the ball, man, a razorback.
Hey, what about the business at hand? What about the game? What about playing Buffalo again?
Well, we're very confident, man. We feel good. We got a little swagger to us now. I mean, last year we just running around wild, you know, a bunch of, you know, we had salty veterans like myself, and we had young guys like Kevin Smith. We just running around wild. This year, you know, we know what to expect. I mean, we soaking up the media, we taking it, but the bottom line is, can we be the better team on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, well, then what happens to an offensive lineman? Like, for example, in the off-season, you know, it's like sometimes you go fishing or you're just taking it easy or you go swimming. You ever go, like, diving? I mean, you ever dive off a diving board?
Yeah, you know, like I said, you know, when I was younger, you know, it started when I was young, you know, the kids, you know, they would dive and do flips and everything, but I wasn't as acrobatic as everybody. So I started perfecting the cannonball and the jackknife and stuff like that. So, you know, making the water splash up out of the pool onto everybody because, you know, I couldn't do all the exotic moves.
What's the first thing? I mean, like you get on the board, then you get up, you get some movement. You have. What do you do to do a cannonball?
You don't want to go underwater hard because it'll be a dive and there won't be a lot of splash. So if you go in there with a lot of body mass just floating everywhere, it's like a boom, you know. It just loosens you up, man. So that shake is a vital part.
I'll tell you what, I think I've seen great players. I've seen all pros. I've seen Super Bowl winners. I've seen great cannonballers. You fit all those categories.
I appreciate that. But you know what, John, would be nice, man, is me and you and Pat, you know, for the last time for CBS, man, if all of us can go off the cannonball together, man, that'll be great.
Good idea.
That would be great.
Oh, well, let's do it.
I know you got to go to practice. We're going to change clothes and we'll head out to the Georgia Dome.
The average person puts 9,000 times the weight of a sumo wrestler on their feet every day. That's why Dr. Scholl's created advanced insoles and inserts to give your shoes revolutionary cushioning and shock absorption. Make life in your shoes more comfortable.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Better try something else. Mine really works.
You'd better try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors recommend it more than all leading brands. Selsun Blue. Doctor recommended #1.
Hey, get comfortable.
Floor Time Comfort Tech.
A jillion tiny air bubbles make Comfort Tech lightweight and super flexible.
The comfort's made for you.
With Floorshine Comfort Tech shoes, you can go anywhere in comfort.
Floor Time Comfort Tech for America.
Casual look to looks this dressy. Hey,
For America.
get comfortable.
Floor Time Comfort Tech.
This is the office where our Ford truck engineers get a lot of work done. Because by knowing firsthand how a full-size pickup ought to work, they can make it work even better. That's why the Ford F-Series now has a new standard airbag, standard anti-lock brakes, and constant ideas to make tough even tougher. More proof that at Ford we're looking ahead and looking to stay ahead. Ford F-Series, the #1 selling truck, is built Ford tough.
Minnesota battles St. John's and a Big Ten showdown. 11th ranked Indiana takes on Illinois. There it is tomorrow on CBS.
Well, you know, John, everywhere we go, people ask us how we pick the All-Madden team. They ask us about football. And they just ask us about life in general. Let's just have a look at what people are asking.
Hey, John, how do you pick the All-Madden team?
It's not easy. First, we have to see the guys. But even when we don't see it, we have other guys out there watching. We have guys watching them from the press box. We have guys watching them down in the field. We study their every move.
Should the sausages be sweet?
Sweet? What are you talking about, sweet? Heck no, they can't be sweet. You have to have big old sausages that are the opposite of sweet. What is that, sour? But they have to be the big ones that, you know, if you drop them off the thing, you cook them for a while, then they hit, they bounce, you wash them up, just put them back in the thing and eat it.
Hey, John, any thoughts of an All-Madden league?
Oh, yeah. I think about it all the time. In fact, I even have the equipment. Here's how we start. We start with the old high top, brown laces. Remember in the old days when they called them cleats? The old football cleats. That's it. And then the helmet, the old leather helmet. Man, this thing has to be flexible because you can go like this. You finish playing, you fold it up, stick it in your back pocket. You want something to eat, you put your lunch in there. It can be your lunch bucket, it can be anything. It's your helmet on Sunday, and it's anything else you need during the week. And this is how we start our league, right here. This is the foundation and the basics.
Hey, John, why is the Mississippi River so muddy?
Because it's where it ends. It's just, you know, they dump a lot of stuff in the Mississippi. And then, you know, all rivers flow one way. You know, and on this team, we don't know which way it flows, but wherever it flows down to, the stuff that ends there is mud. And if we can play a game, we play it right there in the Mississippi mud, man.
What do those coaches do on the benches anyway?
Well, you know, the coaches always, you know, are talking in the sideline. Sometimes they're talking, sometimes they're listening, sometimes they're drawing upside down. And, you know, sometimes when you're listening and then you start to talk or you're talking and then someone talks to you, that part of your brain that goes from talking to listening sometimes just takes a headset and it goes, whoop.
Why is it 10 yards to make a first down?
Because they made the change first. The first thing that came was not the 10 yards or the mark, but those chains, you know, that they market, because they had that many links. They got a good deal on links, on chain links. And the chain links were in the 10 yards. So to save money, they had to pay more if they got an 8-yard link, or they had to pay more for a 12-yard link, And the best deal for, big bulk things for all the football and every level was 10 yards. So they said, okay, that's it. We got 10 yards of change, so it's 10 yards for first down.
Hey, John, are you going to have cheerleaders on the team?
Nah. Well, no cheerleaders, but we do know they're going to be running backs. Let's take a look at them.
And you have to start your running backs with Emmitt Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's a guy that's led the league in rushing the last 3 years, but that's not why he's on the All-Madden team, Pat. He's on there because he'll run, he'll catch, and he'll block, and he is a tough guy.
He always carries the ball under the left arm and uses the right arm for a club.
And remember him in that Giant game in overtime after that injury? One of the most courageous efforts I've ever seen.
And you can't leave off Barry Sanders.
Now, I think when you talk about pure runners, just giving him the ball and letting him run, no one does it better than Barry Sanders. How do you tackle this guy? I mean, he has moves on moves.
Nobody's figured it out yet.
I know a lot of guys pull groin muscles trying to do it, though.
Ricky Waters of the 49ers.
Well, you need excitement. You need someone to say, okay, who's going to bring the excitement today? And Ricky Waters will bring that to you. I mean, he has, once the game starts, he has the moves and the plays and the celebrations, but even before the game, he'll get the crowd into it for you.
He had a record-setting 5 touchdowns in the playoff game against the Giants. And speaking of the Giants, how about Rodney Hampton?
Well, the type of team the Giants are, where they're going to play strong defense, special teams, and a running game, they need a runner like Rodney Hampton.
Jerome Bettis of the Rams, the rookie.
I'll tell you, I like this guy. I mean, he looks like a nose tackle. Look at that body. I mean, he's about 250, 255 pounds, and he runs like a wide receiver, and he's a tailback.
Ron Moore of Phoenix, a surprise.
Yeah, he is a surprise. Remember we saw him at the end of the season against the Giants, and the Giants couldn't stop him. And I said, heck, we have to have this guy on our team.
And on Thanksgiving Day, this was Keith Byers of Miami.
Well, Keith Byers, we're not going to have a tight end. Keith Byers can be a running back. He can be a tight end. He can be everything. And then when you need celebration in the snow and you say, hey, let's make a good snow angel, you got the perfect guy.
What a great group of running backs.
Yeah, I think when you have an Emmitt Smith and a Barry Sanders, and then you start the young guys like Jerome Bettis, you can't beat this group.
Well, you won't be beat very often, that's for sure. Right now, we're going to fire up the bus and head over to the Georgia Dome. But first, let's take a look at an all-Madden moment.
That John Frank is a rookie. Bill Walton saying this guy's always in fights, and he always blocks guys and stays with him. He said he can just glue to you. And that's exactly what he did to Lawrence Taylor. Look, he just glued to him. Taylor has him. Frank gets the reversal. Taylor's going for the reversal. Frank gets the pin. Referee says that's it, no more. 1, 2, 3, west.
Little Caesars really gives you something to party about. Pizza for $1. It's your pizza bonus. Buy 2 pizzas with 2 toppings for $8.98 and get a 3rd pizza for $1.
Pizza.
Drixoral is. Sudafed isn't. Drixoral is. Tavus-D isn't. Drixoral is the only cold medicine that relieves the sneezing, stuffiness, plus the aches and pains of a cold for 12 full hours. Drixoral. Isn't that better?
This machine makes something that's in high demand these days. An item that represents many things, like quality, innovation, and the pursuit of perfection, which is why you'll find this popular item on both America's best-selling car and America's best-selling truck. In fact, 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America last year were wearing one of these. Ford. We're attached to quality.
Brute by Fabergé. Men are back.
Name anybody who is anybody in the last 25 years, and chances are they've been on 60 Minutes. 3 of them will be this Sunday on a 60 Minutes special.
Well, we're inside the Georgia Dome, the site of Super Bowl 28 here in Atlanta. John, it looks like they've decorated the place, but there might be one thing missing.
Yeah, this place is too clean. I mean, the All-Madden team would never play here, and they don't have any bunting. For years I thought the NFL missed bunting. You had to have bunting for the big games. They skip right over bunting, and they look like they got some Art Deco stuff decorating this place.
Art Deco is never going to make it on the All-Madden team. Well, you met the guys who carry the ball. Now let's meet the people who catch it. Now let's take a look at the All-Madden wide receivers, and what better place to start than with Jerry Rice.
Well, you start off with Jerry Rice because he's caught more touchdown passes than anyone in the history of the game. And they just don't know how to cover him. I mean, you get up there tight, he'll just run right by you. He catches one on you, you think his knee's down, his knee's not down. He takes that one in the end zone.
All you can do is look for help. And if you stop Jerry Rice, there's John Taylor on the other side.
And John Taylor does all the tough things. He'll catch that inside pass, and you think you have him tackled. He keeps running. He's a great runner after the catch. In fact, remember at one time he was a great punt returner.
And then Michael Irvin of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, you think of the Dallas Cowboy offense and the Cowboys playing in the Super Bowl tomorrow, and Michael Irvin is a playmaker. You hand it to Emmett, and you throw it to Michael, and that's a big, big part of that Cowboy offense.
And he keeps trying to get better. Sterling Sharp of the Green Bay Packers.
He's one of those guys that is always going to get open, always working hard, is great after he catches the ball. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. You talk to defenders in this league, and they say, who's the toughest wide receiver to tackle after he catches the ball? They'll all say Sterling Sharp.
And no matter what team he plays for, Gary Clark has to be on the All-Madden team.
Tough guy, isn't he, Pat? And he can do it all. You want a one-handed catch, he'll give it to you. You want him to go inside, he'll do it. And one thing about Gary Clark, he's always going to jump up. You can't hurt me.
Well, John, we got another guy with us who's not afraid to go across the middle, Sterling Sharp.
And a guy that, catches so many passes and runs so well, as we were talking about after the catch. How do you do that? What do you think when you're going out there running a pattern and catching a ball?
Well, most of the times you're going to get hit it anyway, so you may as well catch the ball and kind of hang on to it. I've been making my living in the middle. A lot of those guys like Gary Clark are great receivers who have been here and done those things. You got to be able to take that lick and get up, because that's the motivating factor for a lot of defensive backs. Take that lick and punish you and make you not want to come in there and catch the ball.
Well, when do you start thinking about your run? Do you start thinking while the ball's in the air, or do you start thinking about running after you catch it?
I think most of the guys do it the night before. You see these same plays, and you kind of put yourself in that situation. It's really reaction. You don't really get a chance to think about it. You go out and you react, you catch it, you try to make a guy miss and go for the big one.
One thing we have to talk about, we're here in this dome, and they got all this fancy stuff here, and you caught 112 passes this year, broke your own record, but, sometimes I watch you, your celebrations aren't as good as some celebrations. Let me show you. We have a coach here who's going to teach us how to do it. Look, he's right up there. Just take a look at this.
All right. Now, let me show you how we do our touchdown celebration. It's real simple. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. He's also doing it with the greatest receiver in the NFL, so if I ever happen to get to that status, I'll learn how to dance.
3, 10. Next year on the All-Madden team, John, you're going to do it. See ya!
What do you think of that?
I think you need to do it.
I'm not going to. No. He'll see me, and he'll see me next year.
But he won't see you doing that dance.
He's not going to see me doing any dances.
Well, he definitely won't see me doing any dances either.
Well, the way you play and the things you do, you don't have to do a lot of dances. Just keep it going.
Sterling, you had a great year, but I think even more remarkable was the fact that you couldn't practice for the last 2 months.
That kind of worked out kind of difficult. I was still able to throw me so many balls. I was still able to go out and I think be effective and not hurt my team. And I also help those guys who hold out during training camp and that thing that you don't have to practice to go out and play and be successful. So I think I got a lot of friends now that may have contract problems that are be looking at the way I played last year.
And you have a lot of coaches that say, what do you mean you don't have to practice? I tell you, we're always looking for new guys for the All-Madden team. I've been watching your quarterback, Brett Favre. What do you think?
I think he's going to be the guy on this team next year. I think he just minimizes his mistakes and continue to play the way he's been playing. I think he's going to be on this team. He's a gritty, hard-nosed kind of guy, gives you everything he's got, and I think the most important thing is he knows how to celebrate after a big play.
Well, on the subject of quarterbacks, let's meet this year's quarterbacks on the All-Madden team. For your trigger man, you need him to be tough, smart, and strong. Troy Aikman of Dallas.
You know, and he's all those things, plus he has the quickest read and the quickest release, I think, in football. And right now, he's also the hottest quarterback in all of football. He can see it and get it to him better than anyone.
And so can Steve Young of the 49ers.
Well, Steve Young is one of those guys that can do it all. He one of the few quarterbacks in football that leads with his head. But you know that he can move around, he can break tackles, then he can throw it, and then he's one of the few guys that can throw it to himself. Watch this. Boom, 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 boom.
Now that's the big league.
That's all Madden.
Phil Simms of New York.
New coach in Dan Reeves this year. Phil Simms was rejuvenated. And here's a guy who's a 15-year veteran, Pat. We've been covering those games for 13 years of Phil Simms, and I don't think he's ever looked better. You want to see a perfect spiral? Watch this.
Then perhaps the greatest of all, Joe Montana.
You know, this is the 10th anniversary of the All-Madden team, and we didn't see Joe Montana this year, but what the heck, this is our team. We can do what we want to, and you can't have a 10th anniversary All-Madden team with not having Joe Montana in it. I think of all the years that we've been watching quarterbacks, Joe Montana is the greatest that we've ever seen.
I went out to buy a car and came home with a truck. Everybody saw my new Ford Ranger and said, oh, we in luck. Now I've been driving nonstop with my girl likes to shop, and my mom wants the fridge from way over the bridge, and my boss just bought a condo. Better start hauling pronto. My best friend says it's cool. Let's go cruising like we did in school. Don't get me wrong, Ford Ranger, the truck I'm gonna keep. I just wish I could get some sleep.
Hey, you get into fitness, you're likely to get into athlete's foot, and that could be tough. I mean, look at it. You've got all that itching and cracking stuff, and watch this. Boom, even burning. You see that? Now, that's what you call a really tough case. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom, tough-acting Tenactin. See, Tenactin cures even tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. It's clinically proven. No wonder it's the one most recommended by pharmacists. You got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get this. Boom. Tough-acting Tenactin.
Don't I get 2 pizzas for the price of one?
Don't think of it as one pizza. Think of it as one pizza and $1.
What am I going to do with a box?
Ever hear of origami?
What's that?
A pterodactyl.
A what?
At Little Caesars, you never get just one pizza. You get
pizza.
2 great pizzas for one low price.
Chuck Norris takes on an army
You're walking into hell.
to destroy a drug empire.
I'll send you a postcard.
An all-new Walker Texas Ranger tonight.
Billy, 79, we were playing Dallas in the divisional playoffs, and I was rushing Roger Staubach, and I stepped inside of Rayfield Wright, and I got knocked over, and it broke my fibia. Well, they took me into the locker room, and they took an X-ray of it, and looked at it, and they said, yeah, that's what we expected. It's a broken fibia. And I said, okay, tape it up. And they said, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. You can't tape a broken leg. Yeah, you can. Tape it up, tape 2 aspirin to it, and let's go. This is the divisional playoff. This is the chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I said, and tape it. Let's do it. Let's go play. And we did.
Now, you know, to this day, a lot of people can't conceive of how a human being could do something like that, play a football game with a broken leg.
That's why Jack Youngblood was so special, and that's why the real special ones are the tough ones. And I remember when we first started this team, I thought if we could make a poster of the All-Madden player, that poster player would be Jack Youngblood.
Well, he sort of symbolizes what the All-Madden team is all about. Now let's meet this year's defensive line. When you play the Packers, you better find out where Reggie White is lined up.
And after you find out, you better keep your head up and your shoulders square and all those things to block him, because we see here that quick inside move he has. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. And this one here is what they call a bull rush. And Reggie White has the best bull rush in the NFL.
And Richard Dent.
You know, I think of all the pure pass rushers as defensive ends, the best that we've seen is Richard Dent.
He can embarrass you.
Well, he's one of those guys that comes from that backside.
Next to him is Chris Zorich, first year.
I like this guy. You know, his motor's always running. I mean, he goes about 110 miles an hour. He got that left-handed stance. He's a short guy, has that leverage, double team, legs go right out of the ground. Boom, he still makes the tackle.
Charles Haley.
I think that Charles Haley is the most disruptive player in the league. You know, anytime he goes in there, stuff happens. I mean, the ball just flies out of there.
He may not sack the quarterback, but he just destroys things.
Yeah, and he can go outside, he can go inside, he can grab ends, and he just does everything. And then at the end, he usually whacks the quarterback.
Chris Dolman of Minnesota.
I think, again, we talk about Richard Dent being a defensive end, a pass rusher, a backside guy, and Chris Dolman's the same type of guy. And I think they've all learned that strip from Lawrence Taylor.
Quick, big, everything belongs to Sean Gilbert.
Yeah, you like that. You have to have that size of the big defensive tackles, and Sean Gilbert is one of the best, and he knows how to celebrate. After he makes a play, he gets all that stuff moving.
He knows how to make things meet. You know, John, you think about those guys, and those are some pretty special individuals. What happens to your favorite players when they finish their careers?
Well, we got to take them someplace, and when you have all Madden-type players, you haul them there. And, Pat, I found a place to haul them. Last year, we established the Hall of Fame, and we honored Mike Singletary and Anthony Munoz. Now, the Hall of Fame was in Van Horn, Texas. We kind of outgrew that. So we jumped in the bus, and we scoured the country for a new location. We crossed rivers, we climbed mountains, until we found a spot in Big Sky Country, out where the deer and the antelope play, Medicine Bow, Wyoming. Now, there's plenty of room out there to build a new hall. And me and my construction staff, we're ready to break ground soon. But in the meantime, the guys are going to be housed in the old Virginian Hotel. And this year, the Hall of Fame welcomes big old Joe Jacoby, the great offensive lineman from the Washington Redskins. You know, the All-Madden team's kind of based on big old linemen. When you think of big old linemen, you think of the Hogs. And when you think of the Hogs, you have to think of Joe Jacoby. Boy, he was a great one for years for the Washington Redskins. Retiring now. And, Joe, welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Well, John, you got the construction site picked out. How's the construction going?
Well, we're starting to break ground. My staff is up there. They're waiting for me. I got this sign here. The minute this show is over, it's going. It's going to be on its way to Medicine Bow, Wyoming, and this is a cornerstone for our new building.
My dream to someday, maybe I'll be there myself. We'll be back after this message and the word from your local station.
Former gold medalists and world champions go one-on-one at the Jeep Eagle Tournament of Champions Finals, Sunday on CBS.
This is CBS.
Pressure. The game is up in the air. There's always one person that should try to keep control. When my players see this sign, they know we're running to win. This means we're going down inside to the post. If we need one shot, last shot. They're going to see a one-up. When we need poise, we bring it right down. If you're out there having a couple of drafts with a couple of friends, I got a sign for you right now. Right here. Use your head. Think when you drink.
Coming up this weekend on Entertainment Tonight, in an exclusive interview, Aidan Quinn reveals his insecurities about his sexy on-screen striptease in the scary new thriller Blink. Then meet sultry supermodel Tyra. Find out how she juggles being a runway star and a starring role on a hit TV show. Plus, she's the queen of the killer workout. Now, aerobic video guru Jane Fonda stretches into yoga and finds a different kind of intensity. This weekend on E.T.
Saturday night at 7. Channel 3, Burlington.
Now Now here are the linebackers on the All-Madden team, and we start with a newcomer.
Junior Seau from the San Diego Chargers. You know, he has all those things you like. You like guys that are enthusiastic. You like guys that are leaders. You like guys that are good tacklers.
And Ricky Jackson fits that mold.
Now, 13-year veteran. You know, he's one of those guys that will rush the passer. Anytime a guy goes back to pass, he's going to be there. If you run at him, he's tough. And watch this. If you run away from him, Ricky Jackson can still make that play on the other side of the field.
And Monty Coleman of the Redskins.
You know, it seems like we've been doing Redskin games for so many years, and there was always number 51 there. Always making big plays. For 15 years, this guy's been a linebacker with the Redskins. It's his first time on the All-Madden team, but we've really enjoyed him.
And this is certainly not a newcomer, Lawrence Taylor of the Giants.
I think of all the years we've been doing football, Lawrence Taylor is the most dominating defensive player that I've ever seen in my life. You know that strip right there? He brought that into the National Football League. Now everyone uses it.
His years have been just great years.
And I think that he will be remembered as the best that ever played, and his next stop is going to be in Canton in the Hall of Fame. This is where I'm going to line these guys up at. Junior Seau right here. He's going to take care of all the running in here. Monty Coleman, 15 years in the league, good pass defender. He's going to take care of all the passes back here, all this stuff. Then Ricky Jackson is going to come from this end, take care of the pass rush here, take care of any outside run. Then I'm saving this spot here for the greatest of them all, number 56, Lawrence Taylor. He's going to play here and take care of everything on the whole field.
Well, you got to save a spot for him, and he's joined us right now, Lawrence Taylor.
How you doing? Welcome. Thank you.
You know, you had such a great career. In your mind, is there any one particular memory that stands out more than the others?
Well, there's been a lot of great memories in the game of football, but I think the biggest memory is going to the Super Bowl 2 years, 1990 and 1987. Those are the greatest feelings, going to the Super Bowl.
Can you think of one play in your career that you think was the greatest play?
One of my greatest plays was back when we was playing Detroit, Thanksgiving Day, and I had an intercept. I read the whole pass the whole way, caught the ball on the 3-yard line, and went 97 yards for a touchdown. That was one play I always will remember.
I remember we did that game, and I remember saying that there are only one defensive player that can win a game in football. And I thought it was you because I thought you won that game.
Well, at the time, I'll tell you, when I first came into the league, I thought no one could play with me. I thought I was in control of every ball game, every situation. I knew what I was doing in my mind. I knew my body was superior to a lot of different people, a lot of people in general. But I knew once my body started to go, once my speed started to go, once my endurance started to go, once my ability, so to speak, started to go, then I would be just another ball player. And my career would go from great to regular pretty quick. So it was time for me to get out the game.
Well, you know, Pat and I have been together for 13 years, and those 13 years that we were together, we covered your 13 years, and I think that of all the players we've ever seen, you were the greatest defensive player I've ever seen. And to have you here and be a part of this 10th anniversary team is a real privilege.
Oh, privilege to me. I'm just glad I made the All-Madden team. The hell with the money. I want to make the All-Madden
Well, you know, he's right, LT. You'd never be just a regular guy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's terrific.
Thank you. Thanks.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the rest of the defense.
How does the owner of Little Caesars think up his next great pizza idea? What are his influences, his inspiration?
That's it. Pizza for $1. Where do I come up with this stuff?
Pizza for $1. Now, when you buy 2 pizzas with 2 toppings for $8.98, you get a 3rd pizza for $1.
Pizza.
When it comes to tough hand tools, we're making a name for ourselves because they're made with a full lifetime warranty. That's ACE, the name to know for hand tools.
Getting into shape, that's good. Getting into athletes, but that's not.
especially a really tough case. The irritating itch, the painful cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough-actin Tinactin. Tinactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. And Tinactin is clinically proven.
No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists.
Got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get the medicine that acts tough. Tough-actin Tinactin.
Brute by Fabergé. Men are back.
This week, all new fun with Martin Lawrence, Tom Brokaw, Julie Kavner, Aidan Quinn, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Jerry Van Dyke. This week.
Let's start with Donnell Wolford.
Well, the Bears are in a rebuilding mode, and the guy that they're rebuilding their defense around is Donnell Wolford. I'll tell you, he was all over the field, a great cover guy.
Remember this play?
Say, this was the greatest interception and return of an interception that I've ever seen in my life.
It seemed like it went on forever. It was so good.
Well, he's also one of the best defensive backs in football.
Eric Allen of the Eagles.
I made 4 touchdowns. I had a 94-yard touchdown run. I deserve to be on offense or some special teams or something. You can make something up, John. I know you can. 4 touchdowns. I have to be somewhere else besides defense, John. Help me out.
Okay, I'll put you on special teams and you'll be a punt returner. No offense, though. Don't give me that stuff.
You talk about a courageous performance, not just one game, but an entire year for Mark Collins.
Mark Collins had a super year, as the Giants did, and I think that their defense was outstanding, and Mark Collins was a very big part of that.
And Darryl Green.
One of our favorites. You know, we've been doing the Washington Redskin games and watching Darryl Green. We know he's one of the fastest players in the National Football League, and a guy with spirit who just loves to play the game and just gives energy to everyone.
And another newcomer to the team, Leroy Butler of the Packers.
Yeah, you see that hit there? That's what I like about Leroy Butler. He'll play the run, he'll play the pass, he'll tackle. Then if there's anything left over to do, like take a lateral, what the heck, he'll do that too.
Wow, the all-Madden team. I gotta find Reggie. Mark Clayton, have you seen Reggie? No. Hey, Reggie, this is just in. I made the all-Madden team.
Oh, man, I got 8 of them, man. I'm in here trying to work out. Get this stuff on out of here,
Hey,
man.
I gotta get one first. Come on, man. I made the all-Madden team.
Leroy, congratulations, okay?
Hey, I'll see you next year.
I'll see you next year. Get on out of here. Sure.
John, it's always great to see those guys who make the team for the first time. They just get so excited about it.
Right, and if you can get that excited about making this, you can get excited about any of them.
You know, one of the mainstays, it seems to me, of any all-Madden team we've ever done has always been Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, I think when you think of great defensive players, great hitters, tacklers, you have to think of Ronnie Lott. I mean, Ronnie Lott was one of those guys who played his entire career as a tough guy. You know, he's a card-carrying tough guy. Remember one game he even played without some of his parts.
Oh, sure, yeah. He lost his finger somewhere.
Yeah.
I was playing against the Dallas Cowboys America team, and of course I was trying to tackle this big guy named Tim Newson, and he ran into my finger, smashed it, and I remember part of it being left on my helmet, and as I was coming off the field, the guy goes, "Hey, I got a part of your finger," and went to the doctor, and he said, "Hey, look, we gotta, you know, you want to play next week, we have to sew this sucker up and get it ready," and one of those things where he told me that the only way you're going to ever get a chance to take care of this finger is you can probably have to amputate it.
Boy, you talk about a tough guy.
And, you know, with that, he didn't even miss a game.
We'll be back after this.
Little Caesars really gives you something to party about. Pizza for $1. It's your pizza bonus. Buy 2 pizzas with 2 toppings for $8.98 and get a 3rd pizza for $1.
Pizza. Hey, hang around locker rooms like these guys, you're bound to run into athlete's foot. It could get tough.
See, you get that itching and cracking stuff. And look, boom, even burning. Now, that's a really tough case. And that's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough-actin Tinactin. You see, Tinactin cures even tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. It's clinically proven. No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists. Hey, you got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get this. Boom! Tough-actin Tinactin.
3 decades in the making. And worth its weight in gold. The all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was, and more. It's Motor Trend Car of the Year.
I'm Bob Schieffer. Still more aftershocks in Los Angeles, and champion skier Ulrike Meyer dies in a racing accident in Germany. On tonight's Evening News.
When you think of special teams and you think of guys running down under kicks and wild guys, there's one guy that starts that list, and that's Bill Bates, number 40 of the Dallas Cowboys. This guy's everywhere.
And how about Steve Hendrickson? This is a newcomer.
Well, I like a guy that can do everything, Pat. Runs down on kicks, and he plays defense. You see, we'll see him here as a linebacker. Comes in and makes the tackle. Say, can he play offense? Yeah, he'll play fullback, and he'll be a lead blocker.
And then he can do a lot of other things, too.
Oh, yeah, the more things you can do. That's what Hendrickson did. I mean, you go home, you cut down the tree, you got the baby, you need fishing, you have to build something, you just build it. You feed these things. What are these, iguanas?
I think so.
And then you finish the iguana, you feed the dog.
Now, that's a real special team right there.
That's all in a day's work.
Well, John, it's good to have a guy who can do everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, offense, defense, after practice, carry things, push things, fix things, feed things. You need one guy in your team that can do those things.
You also got to have a kicker. I see you got no kickers on your team.
Nah, not this year, no kickers.
You may not have any kickers, but I know you got to have a coach.
The coach of the All-Madden team this year is going to be Don Shula. You remember him as a young coach with the Baltimore Colts, then years with the Miami Dolphins. He won more games than any coach in the history of the game. I know that of all the coaches in the game, he's the one that I respect the most, and I want him with us.
John, I've known Don Shula since he and I were both players, so that's a long time, and you couldn't have made a better choice. But I think you still need one thing, and I got a guy I think will fill the bill right here.
Coach.
Hey, the heavyweight champion of the world.
I understand you need someone to put your entourage. I'm available.
You would lead the entourage?
Yes, I will.
I tell you can't beat that. When you can get the heavyweight champion of the world to lead your entourage, this All-Madden team is a perfect team. And, it's interesting. I was just thinking about this the other day. I really was. And I was looking for entourages, and I was watching a fight, and I watched this guy, and he came out, and he looked too small, and he was scared. So I said, no, I'm not going to have this guy. I'm going to go get a real fight guy. Now I got you. I know I got that. But also went out and got Gil Clancy. And I said, here's a guy. Okay, now we're into martial arts, so I go and I get a samurai guy. Joey Browner, tough with a sword. And then I needed a guy to feed him because I got this entourage. You're going to lead them out. We got all these guys. Here comes the All-Madden team. So up in Philadelphia, they have a trainer by the name of Otho Davis. Makes the best chili you've ever had. So Otho,
under the stadium.
Under the stadium. So Otho is going to feed him. Now, when we're done feeding them, we're going to have so much we're going to have leftovers, so I need a guy that's kind of takes care of the rest of the eating. We had him as an eating coach, and now he's just going to take care of the leftovers, and that's George Foreman. I'll tell you, with that group, we can't be beaten.
No way.
But then I still need another guy. And I was looking for a fighter, and I found one years ago in Chicago. And I want that guy to be right up there with the champ.
Who might he be?
Well, that might be you, because I was looking at some old clips, and I saw this fight break out, and I saw this punch here, and Evander, what do you think of that punch?
Not bad. Quick hand.
How about defense?
Pretty good.
I walked away. Talk about toughness. Remember Steve DeBerg, that game we did down at the Joe Robbie Stadium, the Giants against the Dolphins, when he got buried, got cut, went back into the locker room, got all bandaged up, came back into the game, and finished it. Almost won it, as a matter of fact. Maybe he should lead the team out.
The average person puts 9,000 times the weight of a sumo wrestler on their feet every day. That's why Dr. Scholl's created advanced insoles and inserts to give your shoes revolutionary cushioning and shock absorption. Make life in your shoes more comfortable.
Hey, get comfortable.
Floor Shine Comfort Tech.
A jillion tiny air bubbles make Comfort Tech lightweight and super flexible.
The comfort's made for you.
With Floor Shine Comfort Tech shoes, you can go anywhere in comfort.
Floor Shine Comfort Tech for America.
Casual look. The look's this dressy. Hey.
For America.
Get comfortable.
Floor Shine Comfort Tech.
How does the owner of Little Caesars think up his next great pizza idea? What are his influences, his inspiration?
That's it. Pizza for a buck. Where do I come up with this stuff?
Pizza for a buck. Now, when you buy 2 pizzas with 2 toppings for $8.98, you get a 3rd pizza for a buck.
Pizza.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Pills take time to dissolve, but Alka-Seltzer Plus is ready the moment you take it to soothe your ache, relieve your runny nose, free your breathing. Nothing rushes relief like Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Time now for the Little Caesars MVP.
Well, the drinks freeze up. You have to do something about it. Here's the guy who was a good player with a stick. He became the MVP right here, Pat, when he stuck the fingers in the drink, the stick in one hand, the fingers in the other hand. He had it all going. Hey, I don't know who that guy was or where that stick came from, but we're going to find him to give him the award.
You know, these players consider it such a great honor to be chosen on the All-Madden team. What do they get?
Well, they're going to get jackets like you and I are wearing. Plus, remember this trophy Ed White made for us, the original All-Madden trophy years ago? Well, we're having trophies like this, replicas of this, made for all the players.
Well, you know, there is one more game to be played. That's going to be played right here at the Georgia Dome. Buffalo and Dallas. What are your thoughts about the game?
Well, you know, we just saw Dallas a week ago, and they looked as close to perfect as I think a football team can. Now, if they can bring that same thing in here tomorrow, I think they're going to win.
Well, they're certainly the best team that we have seen. John, we've been doing this All-Madden team for 10 years. It doesn't seem like it's that long. And I, for one, certainly hope it continues.
Well, it's been 10 great years. And I know one thing, that we've had a lot of fun together doing this, a lot of fun with the players and the team and being part of it. And I will guarantee you, there'll be an All-Madden team next year.
Well, John, I, for one, look forward to it. For John Madden, then, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Atlanta.
Continental. One airline can make a difference. Business first. The comfort and service of international first class at a business class fare. That's the difference on Continental.
Little Caesars 10th Anniversary All-Madden team has been sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. Tough Actin' Tenactin, the official sponsor of the National Football League and the All-Madden team. And by Ford, the all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was, and more.
Minnesota battles St. John's and a Big Ten showdown. 11th ranked Indiana takes on Illinois. There it is tomorrow on CBS.
This is CBS.